Yeah, so trying to find that balance with replacing machinery, it's obviously an important part of the business. You can't run an operation without good gear. But then there's also those other factors about that you've got to think about long term when it comes to machinery. So, watch your hanging on to gear for too long. It might come back and come back in repairs and maintenance and reliability and not getting operations done at the right time, and that can have a financial impact later on down the track. So what decisions do you need to make now to make sure that you're productive in 3-4 years' time when you've got that? And the other thing that's really coming into it, that OH&S aspect of keeping yourself, your family and your employees safe, and having the best gear you can that you can afford to have for the safety of all the people that work on your farm is just as important as anything else, because no one wants to see an accident, anything to happen to anyone on their farming operations.
It's an attractive thing too for employees to work on good gear. It's more comfortable, it's safer, but it's a way of retaining. People want to work with good gear as opposed to gear that's unreliable. That's a good attractant for a business.
Yeah. It's absolutely a key part too around having that, when we talk about nailing the 1%ers, having the right fleet is incredibly important to making sure you can actually go out there and achieve what you set out to achieve at the start of the year. And I think the balanced approach and trying to spread out the big ticket items and as much as something might not need changing over, it's so in 5 years' time, if the header, hair seeder and sprayer all come at once, that can be a big impact on the business. And so strategically, I guess, looking at ways to say, well, can we tip a residual machine or a residual value into the right machine that brings something forward, so then when that next up major item like the header or something is up for renewal, the business can then not get slammed, I guess, with a double whammy of cost at a cash level, to maintain that efficiency and reliability, but at the same token too, still really keeping that and choosing where to invest strategically around where's going to be the biggest gain first, because then it's a compounding effect that comes from if we strategically invest in the right gear that brings us a cost saving somewhere else, it means we can direct that saving to invest in another aspect of the business. And it's that how we talk about building on those 1%ers over time can actually add up to be very, very big dollars for scaled businesses, and that ongoing benefit that comes from the work we do and understanding that piece and having control in that area is, it's incredibly good at driving the profitability for our growers.
Yeah. And I think from what we do, investing that time in talking through and really planning those machinery purchases out 2, 3, 4 years out is so critical, and trying to talk through the advantages of the different pieces of machinery, where's the priority, so that the whole farming family understands, well, this is where we're at the moment in regards to equipment, this is where we need to be, and this is our plan that we're going to use to get there, as opposed to making ad hoc decisions based on, a machinery specialist coming along next week, as opposed to, no, we know in 18 months' time we're changing over that piece of machinery because that's right for our business.
And it really helps too, not getting distracted when that dealer rolls in the gate and they've got the shiny new machine and it's got a discounted price. It's like having that control to say, let's not get distracted by that because it's not part of the plan. Or we know we're in the market for that, let's look at that opportunity. And the biggest thing I see too with growers is when the mum and dad and son and daughter walk out of the room, everyone's rowing in the same direction, on the same page, with the same mindset around, we're going to do this because it's strategic, we're going to do this because we can afford to do it. It's not a can we, can't we, butting heads, talking about it and never actually doing anything. That can actually just see you sort of sit in a stagnant space, which again is no one benefits from.
There's been some cracking finance deals, haven't there, with new gear over the past where, and it's about also understanding that you take the opportunity that if you're going to do the upgrade now, sometimes it can be, we don't have to put capital into it, we can actually lean on this and use that to offset debt elsewhere when there's a really good finance deal on the table, which we've seen over the years. There's been some very attractive deals, but it's understanding and working through how they work. Are there hidden costs in the background? Is the price of the machine actually inflated because they're offsetting the 0% finance up front? But having said that, if you get it right, there can be a big cost saving there as well.
The other aspect to it is the instant tax write-off, asset tax write-off over the last few years has changed people's machinery replacement schedule because so many purchases got brought forward, which for all the right reasons was done at the time. But you got to start to think about what's the ongoing implications of that. One I was
spread
from
that back out.
spread it back out again because it was a lump sum,
Yeah.
and then obviously, there's some taxation implications to when you sell that machinery too. So really having that plan when, you've got that lumpy amount of machinery that's all nice and new now because of what's happened from those tax incentives. What does that mean in 5-6 years' time when all that machinery starts to need to be replaced, and how can you spread it back out again?
The beautiful part too is when you've got the plan, you can engage, like we talked about earlier, around those key stakeholders just around your business. With us as a business specialist, you've got your accountant as a tax specialist, you potentially then have the bank there as well. Bringing that tax specialist, your accountant, on board and part of the journey, and helping inform them and direct them around what is going to add value from that relationship outside of mitigating tax is a really key one, because then they can start to understand around, we need to be able to work through this over the next sort of 12 to 24 months. How do we do that? What options are available? When is a good time or not a good time to do these things too? And I think we talked about it earlier around, getting good advice when you need it, getting that expertise and leaning on it is, it's imperative.